What's up, everybody? We got a stacked show for you guys. A lot of controversy happened in the fantasy draft we did, so we got to dive into that. We're going to talk about the results from trials. We're going to talk about some of the upcoming stuff, but I want to tell you guys that this show is presented by IM8, the all-in-one formula for fighters, built for performance, trusted for recovery. Use code FLOWSPORTS for 10% off and visit im8health.com/flowsports to get yours today. That's code FLOWSPORTS for 10% off and visit im8health.com/flowsports. And now let's jump into the episode. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the FloGrappling Show, aka the worst show on the internet. As always, I'm Trey Robinson. We got Joey Gilps right there, Big Uncle Reed right there, and then Daddy Slack Barrett back on the ones and twos on the side desk. Whoop, whoop. We just got back from Orlando, Florida. East Coast Trials was going down. So in this episode, we're going to break down trials, all the stuff we saw out there, all the best happenings and whatnot. We did a fantasy draft last week, so we got to figure out who the winner of that was. And boy, oh boy, was there controversy. Reed might be a cheater, all right? I'm trying to give an unbiased account on it, but Reed might be a cheater, dude, and that's unbiased.
These guys are just mad that I win everything.
And that's unbiased, but we'll get into that. I don't know at what point we should get into all that, but just overall, what'd you guys think of trials? You have a good time?
I had an awesome time. ADCC Trials really feels like the ADCC season has kicked up back into the thick of it, seeing all those names, seeing all those faces that are on that circuit, making it happen out there. Ton of crazy matches. There's only, there's no other tournament circuit quite like ADCC, so I had an awesome time out there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, totally agree. Super fun out there in Orlando. ADCC Trials is unlike any other tournament. There's so much on the line. Guys are trying to kill each other out there. We saw veterans kind of come back and really cement themselves as the guy. We saw new stars being born, so plenty of great action. Bunch of people punched their ticket to Poland. The brackets are starting to kind of fill out, or the divisions are starting to fill out. That just makes me more and more excited. We got one more trials down, and we're cruising here.
For sure. So we do have a lot to talk about. What order do we want to go in? Do we want to dive into fantasy controversy early, dive into results, dive into other stuff? How do you guys want to do it?
Let's go results first, maybe.
Results first?
Just talk about kind of results, and then we can kind of give the recap if anybody didn't listen to the last one on how we did the draft. And
all right, so to kick it off, before we get into the results,
okay, yeah,
Nikki, go ahead and throw up the first graphic. We're bringing back a classic segment here. Not that one, Nikki, the one I sent you, the asset I sent you,
Is this what I think
and no one else has seen.
Am I going to have to guess something?
Oh, yeah. We're bringing back Guess That Grappler.
Oh, no.
We got a big-time Guess That Grappler. And this guy's a Giga Chad, dude. Look at this hunk. Just an absolute weapon of a grappler right here. Everybody at home, drop your comments before we reveal it. Who do you think this is? This is three people. This is a threefer.
Okay, I was going to say.
Okay, yeah, because Keith is in there, I feel like. Is
this Keith, John Blank, and Rafa Ferreira is my guess.
That's your guess?
Keith, John Blanc, Dominic Mejia.
Look at the chin on this guy, dude.
Yeah,
this guy's a hunk. You're at a club or a gym or anywhere, and this guy comes up and starts talking to your girlfriend. You're not doing shit about it, buddy.
Is this AI? AI made this?
No way. This is old school. Man versus the machine. I use Photoshop.
Wow.
John Henry. AI style.
Yeah.
John Henry style.
Yeah, dude. I went John Henry on this one.
Okay.
You guys want the reveal?
Okay, I'm certain that I see Dom Mejia.
Okay.
I see Keith hair, maybe. Looks like Keith's hair. Let's go.
I will say,
I admit, like I can't tell after
that big hunky body. You can't quite.
Trey's not above taking out a tattoo as well. So that's, you can't just judge it off that.
Yeah, you can see I blacked out some rashy stuff.
Yeah, some rashy.
I actually even blacked out certain threads because I thought the thread, like the color of the threading was a giveaway. So
that makes, that's
Are we close? Are those?
You guys are pretty close.
Okay. John Blank, Dom Mejia, and Keith Krikorian. That makes sense. I was thinking Rafa Ferreira in there, but
yeah. Show them the results, Nikki. These boys nailed it.
Wow!
What a great job.
Wow.
The return. Everybody give it up. Everybody give it up for what you've just done.
Let's go.
We got it.
Big time return of Guess That Grappler right there.
Would not have gotten John Blanc. Would have had some issues with the John Blanc. But
Yeah, who was locked in on John Blanc?
I think I
That
said
was
John
you.
Blanc
you.
right out the way, right out the gate.
You just know those bicep veins?
Yeah. I just was like,
Straight
who
up.
else like looks like that?
Yeah.
To be honest, who's a jack? Like I was like Ian Dabe. I was like, no, that looks like
A little
John
too
Blanc.
jacked. And
Yeah.
also, I don't think he put a shirt on the entire event. I'm pretty sure he was just
Yeah,
shirtless. I
yeah.
don't think he brought one. I was
Off the
talking to
mat,
him.
on the mat, didn't matter.
In the bathroom. Yeah. But yeah, so a little Guess That Grappler back in the mix, let me know in the comments. Did you guys know who it was? Did you not know who it was? And don't lie, dude. Don't lie to us in the comments. Some of you guys are nearing fibs in the comments, and you know what? Freaking Santa's coming soon, so you better be careful. But now we can dive into the actual results from the event. Obviously, big time showing from a lot of athletes. Looks like we pulled up the minus 55 female division here first. We can
This
talk
is
about
actually
that.
just the finals feed is what I've got pulled up here. If we
Oh, okay,
look
cool.
at finals, or if not, maybe Joe, if there's an article or something you want me to pull up, just that's summarizes or.
I don't have a summary article necessarily.
Sorry to put you on
ready to go.
blast.
No, yeah. Valerie, obviously Anna Mayordomo, she won her second trials in 10 weeks or 6 weeks or something like that. I feel like she's going to her third trials. Valerie Wong had an incredible tournament as well.
Yeah.
Upset Cindy Ung early on in day one. Anna had that, a tough match with Danielle Kelly, who was another favorite to kind of win. So that was a great semifinal. But I think the big surprise was, or at least for me, was to see that Valerie Wong was the one who came out on the other side. And Valerie versus Anna had a very close match in the finals. Very good match.
Yeah, I think Valerie Wong definitely went under my radar, she wasn't someone I was looking at going into the event, but then as soon as she beat Cindy Ung, I believe, super early on.
First round.
And just started having some great performances. And I was like, oh, wow, Valerie Wong's no joke. Made it all the way to the finals, looked great. I believe she trains out of 10th Planet Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. So, anybody who's with Andy Varela training in that world can be an absolute dog. But Anna Mayordomo just absolutely elite grappler. Anna's having some of the best performances of anyone in the sport right now. She just keeps getting gold medals, keeps showing that she's, kind of one of the best in the world. And I know people are going to make a lot of comments about well, she should just qualify. It's that's just not how it is right now. I don't know what to say about that. I can't really have an organization change their stuff, but she is probably, I would say, going to win a third one that qualifies her, whether it be the second European trials or West Coast trials, and she'll be the first athlete ever to win 3 trials in one cycle, which is pretty incredible, to be honest. So, Anna.
Unbelievable. She's had a crazy year, winning Nogi Pans, winning Nogi Euros, winning ADCC trials in 2 different regions. First person to ever win 2 consecutive continental regionals. No one's ever done that before. And like you said, she's looking to make it even more historic by winning a third potential trials on top of that. And an absolute killer, one of the breakout grapplers of the year. I feel like it's pretty easy to say when we make that list at the end of the year, and it's going to be somewhere on it, right? And Spain has a star. She's absolutely just killing everybody.
Yeah, just what a year Anna's had. To be honest, she should be really proud of all the things that she's accomplished this year and everything. It's really impressive, from Nogi Pans and Nogi Euros and
UFC BJJ in the
UFC
middle of that.
BJJ and both.
They popped Guess That Grappler again.
And they and then obviously winning both the trials. It's just she kind of in her weight class, she's looking unstoppable. And this time around, she had Gordon Ryan in her corner and everything like that. She's obviously got a really good team and everything like that. So definitely Anna is quickly becoming kind of one of the girls to beat at this weight class.
Yeah, Kingsway kind of showed out at this event, right? I believe for medalists, they ended up having Anna, Maka Vickers, Dorian, Reese,
Danielle.
There might be.
Yeah, I mean, guys like Andrew DeGraff did pretty good. Went deep into the tournament.
Yep.
There's a whole bunch of Kingsway guys out there for sure.
Yeah, Kingsway was balling out. You have something else you were going to say, Joe?
No, sorry. I
cut
was
you
trying
off.
to remember something.
Gotcha. But we can go ahead and jump up to the minus 65 kilogram female division. Minus 65, Mo Black ended up getting it done. She faced Taylor Highshaw in the finals. I believe Mo ended up getting the guillotine off of that one. Mo Black just incredibly good at jiu-jitsu. You know, it's like if she's in the trials, then it's like hard to bet against her at this point, you know? A young, hungry competitor like Taylor Hishaw obviously was like trying to stake her claim, make it kind of her moment and everything. And when West Coast Trials rolls around, like who knows, you know, like that extra experience now, making it to the finals of a trials, maybe she'll be ready to go for West Coast and be able to get a win there. But it's just like Mo Black is a force at minus 65. So she had a great run, a lot of submissions along the way as well.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, Taylor Hishaw has been putting together, you know, she's also been having a great year and having a lot of great results and everything like that. It seems like she's getting so much better. And obviously she's training over there with the Simple Man crew. So, you know, she has a really good gym and she's really leveling up. And I definitely think that this tournament, you saw a lot of the best Taylor Hishaw that we've ever seen, you know, and it felt like that maybe this was going to be kind of Taylor's kind of, you know, coming out party where she really kind of stakes her claim as one of the elite in that division. But, you know, nobody told Mo Black about that for sure. And, you know, Mo is a veteran of the game, veteran of the ADCC trials at this point. And she let everybody know that, you know, she's still got, you know, plenty of time left and she's still out there submitting girls and submitting these kind of next generation girls that are coming up. So I think just a huge win for Mo. You know, obviously she did great, you know, the last ADCC cycle and, you know, maybe some question marks or if she's still dedicated, but, you know, she put all that to rest, I think, this time around and got one of the most impressive submissions in the finals of the whole event. So you can't be nothing but impressed with Mo.
100%. Mo is one of the best in the world, was in the world finals this year, is winning ADCC trials again. Last time she was at East Coast Trials, she beat another teenage phenom up-and-comer. She comes back to East Coast Trials, does that again. She's so well suited for this rule set with her wrestling, with her toughness, with her submission ability. And yeah, I will be shocked if at the next ADCC we do not have Mo Black in that bracket. She's a contender against all these girls.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And then in plus 65, to round out the final female division, we saw Maya Madelon getting it done. She also got the win in the finals via submission against Natalie Levesque. You're pretty hip to Maya, right?
Maya.
You have kind of like, you know, like her husband and everything. Mm-hmm. Tell us about Maya.
Yeah, I didn't know Maya too well coming into this, but I am pretty good friends with her husband, Tim Dawson, and they run High Noon BJJ together. Tim's a great guy, really smart guy. Maya is a great competitor who won a bunch of color belt world championships in no-gi and ended up having some knee injuries, had a daughter as well. They have a family together. She runs High Noon. She has so many responsibilities that she's juggling. But these last few months, they were able to really dial in, really figure it out, and she was able to just continue to put good things together and keep leveling up. She's done really well in the ADCC Open circuit. Sorry, at Jiu-Jitsu Con at the Nogi. She won gold there, so I knew that there was some good momentum coming in. So that's why I did have her for my fantasy team, because I just thought, you know, this is going to be a really dark horse kind of person. But even I didn't see this coming, where she's catching submission in the finals and doing as well as she did.
She was the one who ended up beating Jocelyn, right?
Yes.
They fought in the semis. Mm-hmm. I think like that's worth talking about. It is kind of like going into this, one of the biggest stories, you know, that we were talking about and interested in is Jocelyn Molina, only 13 years old. She's been going out, winning all of these ADCC Opens, winning the adult advanced absolutes, kind of like dominating. And so it did feel like, okay, this could be like a historic event where we see a 13-year-old win trials. I think pretty much everyone would have said she would probably be the favorite going into this. Sure. And Maya ended up getting the win against her. Did you watch much of Jocelyn outside of just like that semifinal and stuff? Like up to that, I feel like she was doing pretty solid, right?
She was doing awesome. Jocelyn has great takedowns, great ability to get on top, just, you know, never freaks out in the match. And then when she is on top, her pressure and her passing, especially her half guard passing, is super elite. She had a great tournament. And watching Jocelyn be able to bounce back from the semifinal loss at 13 years old and be able to compose herself well enough to be able to get back in there and win a medal. We've had people, you know, Keith Krikorian talked about it, you know, how this is the first bronze medal he's ever won, but he's lost in the semifinals a few times. And it's just because always he's, you know, not mentally able to get back to that place. Well, Jocelyn's 13 years old, and she was able to do that. And I was very impressed by that. And she looked awesome all weekend. She's now the youngest person to ever be ranked in the world for FloGrappling. And she is, I think, 19th at women's heavyweight. She's awesome. I also really respect that Maya after she won was very respectful towards Jocelyn and basically said, like, listen, Jocelyn has till 2040 and she's going to be on top that entire time. You know what I mean? But 2025, this is my year. This is my time. I'm doing it right now, and I'm the best that I can be. And she proved it. It was incredible. And that 50-50 heel hook in the finals, nice little shout out to her coach that she got a black belt from, Ryan Hall. Obviously, the 50-50 heel hook man himself.
Yeah.
So cool seeing that come back out at an East Coast Trials, right?
I mean, it's got to be pretty, like, you know, a tough thing to have to go out there and fight a 13-year-old.
There's no good thing.
Who's surging, who everybody at the tournament was talking about. Jocelyn Molina, is she going to win? She's probably going to win. You know, like everybody was predicting her to win and everything like that. So there was just so much focus on Jocelyn Molina, and for her to have to go out, and I even talked to like Brittany Elkin and some of these other girls who had to fight Jocelyn, and just kind of being a little bit of an intimidating thing to have to go out there against a 13-year-old, and not just a regular 13-year-old, a 13-year-old who you know is black belt level jiu-jitsu and, you know, can possibly beat you, can possibly submit you. So like that probably has to kind of mess with your head quite a bit, you know. But Maya just did such a great job of really not letting that get to her, just kind of using her top pressure. I think, if I remember that match correctly, where Maya was really just kind of smashing from the top and really put Jocelyn in some bad positions and everything like that. And so it was a very dominant win for her in the semifinals as well. And then she got the submission here, of course, in the finals as well. So just a huge run from Maya, and you know, she really put herself on the map this weekend, I think.
Yeah, this is the submission in the finals right here. Might be having some technical.
I'm having some technical difficulties.
Yeah, that's all good.
Who needs it anyway?
Yeah. I guess
let's roll this table out of here. Let's look each other right here.
Yeah. While we're on the subject of technical difficulties, I mean, you know, elephant in the room, there were some technical difficulties from trials with the archiving of the matches and everything. And, you know.
Well, this is the first I've heard of it.
Yeah. No, it's like, yeah, it sucks, you know. Our apologies. Definitely not what we're trying to do, to go into an event and not have stuff archived correctly and have issues with people being able to watch the event and all that. It's like, you know, you subscribe to FloGrappling, you have an expectation to be able to watch those matches and stuff, and it kind of didn't come true to that. But what we are doing right now is we're going back and like manually reclipping and uploading those matches. So it's like, it's not going to be like an immediate, like we got it all solved for everybody, but it's like we are going back and addressing that and trying to fix that for you guys. So, you know, our apologies. Not much else I can say besides that. It's not what we want to happen. It's not what you guys expect or want to happen. But that is being worked on to be fixed. So there we go. For all the comments that are going to be like, what did you talk about? Like, send them this timestamp if they say we didn't talk about it. But, you know, that's we're working on that right now. So sorry, guys. Our bad. But, yeah, so now we can – that's the final female division. We can talk about the results in the male divisions. Where do you guys want to start in the male divisions?
I feel like we got to start with Dorian, right? I feel like let's start with Dorian, work our way up a little bit. Dorian gets it done by submission in the finals. Came here to this tournament last time, got it done, went to ADCC Worlds, didn't have the performance that he was hoping for. But since then, it looks like he's just leveled up again, right? And this time he looked even more impressive. The wrestling is obviously on point, but now it looks like his entire game is kind of matured to meet that level. The outside passing, the submission threats, all these things that he's working on in the basement, or not in the basement, in his garage, and then he's working on at Kingsway as well. Yeah, Dorian's one of the most unique offensive forces that we've ever seen in jiu-jitsu, and that was on full display this weekend.
Yeah, especially in a division where it ended up being like, there were so many dudes kind of on crazy runs, you know?
There were more ranked guys at that weight class than the rest of the tournament combined.
Yeah, it's like Gavin Corby was on an insane run. Reese Lefevre was looking incredible. I think Reese Lefevre might have some of the best outside heel hooks in all of jiu-jitsu, to be honest. Definitely in like around that weight division. Like, obviously there's tough competition. You got Diego Pato, guys like that who are elite leg lockers. But like, I think Reese is like, all right, this dude is like, he's up there with the best outside heel hookers in the game right now. He looked incredible. One thing that surprised me about Reese too, when it would go to overtime, like you see Reese play almost exclusively on the legs, and then it goes to overtime, and I'm like, oh no, is Reese gonna just get owned in overtime?
Out-wrestled.
This dude busts out like the Danaher stand-up game to a T. Like when you watch him, it's just like, all right, yeah, get heavy on the head, force the hands to the mat, go behind, you know, put them down from there. It's like
harass the feet.
Yeah, it's like if you've seen Danaher teach a class, they always kind of go in this little way of, getting heavy on the head, and then they do a new segment where then they're like, all right, now let's get the hands to the mat, and they drill that, and then they kind of go from there. And it was like, I was like, just felt like I was watching a Danaher class where when Reese was in overtime, like kind of executing exactly like the way that's taught. Like, this dude's a true product of John Danaher. It's like on display, especially in overtime, where I was like, oh wow, this guy, he's soaking it up and like implementing it into training. So I thought Reese had a great performance. Like we said, Gavin, great performance. I'm not to take anything away from Dorian. Dorian, obviously, like an absolute machine at 66 kilograms. I think this dude's this will be a second time at the ADCC World Championship. And I think this time it's like things could be a lot different than his first time where he ended up losing to Garbeg. Like, I think this one could be wildly different. We could see this guy go all the way. We could see him be in the finals. Like, who knows? But a lot of dudes had great performances in 66.
Yeah,
Keith
yeah.
Krikorian,
Yeah, Keith. Yeah, no, I totally agree that there was a lot of great performances at 66. Reese, specifically, man, his guard is just so good. He has the dexterity that he has in his legs. I feel like are so impressive, and so that was really fun to watch him. And Gavin all weekend as well. Like Gavin had these like slick shoulder moves that he was doing kind of after every time he won. He would submit somebody. Like he was submitting people in like 30 seconds, 40 seconds. Like the whole tournament, it felt like, and then he just like get up and do a little shimmy, do a little dance. I can't do it as good as Gavin.
He was smooth with
Gavin.
dude.
Yeah, I was like, man, he's got those smooth shoulders, but loved Gavin's mentality. He was dancing, he was having fun out there, and we just saw Gavin beat Owen Jones, so I felt like Gavin is having a surge right now. He's really kind of climbing to the top and really kind of showing that he deserves to be at ADCC, but the story for this match here was all Dorian Oliveras. And I just think that we know how good Gavin is and how impressive he's been, especially recently. And for Dorian to kind of do what he did to Gavin just like really puts Dorian in a whole nother stratosphere, in my opinion. And just the pace, you got to talk about the pace when you talk about that. You talk about Dorian Oliveras' jiu-jitsu. He just never stops moving. He never stops trying to take you down. He never stops trying to pass your guard. He never stops trying to just frustrate you. And it looks like a very frustrating role. This is towards the end of the match there where Dorian really starts kind of putting it on Gavin. This is went to overtime, or this is, I can't remember.
I think it did go to overtime.
I think it went to overtime, and then Dorian, it feels like that's where he excels is in this overtime.
Yeah, great. Roll triple overtime.
Exactly. Keep going to overtime.
Yeah.
That's what Dorian wants, and Dorian was able to eventually take the back there and finish Gavin, and we know how tough it is to finish Gavin. So just what an impressive performance here from Dorian Oliveras. Just he looked incredible, and he looks like he's going to be a handful for anybody at ADCC 66. Pato, Baby Shark, all those guys alike. It looks like that Dorian, he's going to be there for the entire match. You're really going to have to beat him. So that looks tough.
There's just no way to recreate that. You know what I mean? Like you cannot. It would genuinely have to be like a new person every 30 seconds coming at you. You know what I mean? There's a level of like fine that he is all the time.
Dorian has such good cardio that I don't even understand how it's achieved.
He's not even tired here. He's not even breathing heavy or anything.
Chilling. Like and it's
Can
just like
attest to that. Like right before the last ADCC Worlds, I went and spent a day with him training, and like watching the conditioning training that he's doing is like I've just never seen.
What's he doing?
What he did the day that I was there. Well, first of all, he does a run every single morning, and then ends his run, his like 6 a.m. run with sprints. So that's just how his morning starts, like before he even eats breakfast. So there's that conditioning. Then there's, 2-a-day jiu-jitsu conditioning. And then he just did like a full-blown circuit of like sled pushing, aerodyne, bike, weight, explosive. Just like it makes perfect sense when you see he just has an endless casting.
He's on that assault bike, dude.
He's on the assault bike. He's like doing circuits, and even his trainer at that time that I was there, Jimmy, he was just saying like he's never seen any conditioning like it. So
it's incredible. Obviously, he's doing something right, and it shows through in his matches and everything. But to keep kind of moving through these divisions a little bit, we can talk 77. 77 saw little Jacob Borneman. Not so little Jacob Borneman these days. This dude's freaking yacked out of his mind. Just jacked from head to tippy toe, but he ended up in the finals going up against Michael Sains. So kind of like, a couple guys that I feel like we kind of earmarked as potential favorites. I think maybe Michael Sains, just because of the experience in opens recently and his success there and on who's number one, might have been the pick, that you would think. But Little Jacob is just also an absolute dog. Like I would put him in the same dog category as Dorian. Maybe not as much cardio, but like a relentless, like this dude is willing to make it a fight and just kind of be down and dirty and do whatever it takes to finally win. And like, I think the most impressive thing here in their match specifically was once Jacob finally went like full send on a pass, it did just seem like it was like, boom, he secured it. Like it was like, whoa, holy shit. He just like, you finally saw him go full clip on it and like he just got it and secured the points. So I thought that was super impressive. Got his brown belt after the match. So special moment there. What'd you guys think about this 77 mix up?
Yeah, Little Jacob was having to be in wars all tournament long, right? Not just in the finals, but having to go through Jet earlier that day. Cam Hurd, having to go through Max. All of these were some of the most difficult matches I saw anybody having to go through. So he just had to cowboy up over and over again. But he always met the call. Bell would ring, he'd get back up, keep going, and he got the win, and now he's on his way to Poland. Got to find a passport, got to get a passport for Little Jacob. But man, it's just, we've watched this guy,
and he was hitting that back step pass like on everybody, like, so it is obviously a big tool in his arsenal, and he kind of hit everybody with it. It was pretty sick.
Yeah, his passing looked awesome. So much of his game is looking on point. We've watched this guy grow up. We've watched this guy mature in this game, right? He was a young kid going to the Pedigo program at 16, 17, went off to college, had to come back from college earlier than anticipated. But talking to the Pedigo team, they're just talking about, how much he's just dialed in over the last few months and, just believing fully in the system there every day. And you see the results, man.
Yeah. I think this 77 kilogram division to me, like this was we talk about jiu-jitsu generations and they're short, but this felt like it's like we have a full new crop of guys making it deep into this tournament. Like there's a lot of names that are missing, like an example is like no Nicky Ryan this tournament, no Andrew Tackett, obviously Cade Ruotolo, like ADCC champion, but also kind of like going down an MMA route now. Like I don't know where he's going to be.
But even guys like Andy Varela, for example, like some of these guys that we're just used to seeing all the time.
Yeah, and it was like, we just kind of had this new crop of like Jet Thompson, Little Jacob, Michael Sains, Cam Hurd, like not the youngest guy, but
Nick
like Nick Mattia. And it's just like, damn, bro, there's like a new crop of 77 kilogram grapplers who are incredible to watch, super good, and kind of like staking their claim now to this division. Like just those guys is like, man, you kind of can't go wrong with who comes out of this on top. Little Jacob and Jet had to fight first round of day 2. That's an incredible match. Like that was crazy. Yeah. Michael Sains looked awesome the entire time. Just an electric dude, to be honest, looked great. Nick Mattia. I think Nick Mattia is way better than people realize Nick Mattia is, to be honest. And
he had an incredible tournament.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
Maybe this was a bit of a coming out for Nick Mattia. I know everyone who like tunes into the old B Team channel and the Simple Man channel and all that are like hip to him. But I just think like the jiu-jitsu world as a whole is going to be like, oh wow, okay, yeah, Nick Mattia isn't just like the next guy up. Like he might be the guy who like is there already.
Sorry, I was just going to say the way that Nick kind of put it on John Satava, who's an OG legend, qualified for ADCC in the past and everything like that, and was having a deep run himself, but Nick Mattia just kind of dominated the match from start to finish, and it was just like, okay, yeah, Nick Mattia is the real deal, man. That dude's good, and he had a plenty of great performances, throughout the whole weekend, but that was one that really stuck out to me where I was like, okay, yeah, Nick Mattia has arrived.
Definitely.
You know how there's a like misogynist thing where if a woman's body looks a certain way, the thing is like she doesn't get taken seriously at work? I almost feel like that happens with Nick Mattia, where everybody just sees him, they're like, wow, big biceps, this guy has like a great build. But like, no, his technique is like fucking awesome.
For sure. It's hard to overlook that build, though, Nick. You're looking right, brother.
That is what people were talking. I did keep hearing people talking about that all weekend. Like I would be seeing him watching. I would just hear people off to the side, like, "Man, that guy's jacked." Crazy.
All right, that leads me to a question. I didn't know if I was going to bring this up or not, but I feel like I gotta ask now. You boys you're granted one wish, okay? And they say you can either
Ian Dabe.
they say you can either be built like Ian Dobb or Nick Mattia. What physique you picking?
Dude, Ian Dabe is such a force out there. When he walks into a room, I feel like people notice.
Yeah,
Like,
I'll go with Ian. Be a big
When
strong
he
boy.
walks into the room, he turns sideways to get through the door, bro. Ian Dobb is huge. Just,
yeah. See,
both these dudes absolutely shredded.
I've been watching him on like the Legion channels and stuff like that for a while, but now I feel like this is one of maybe the first times I've seen him in person. I'm like, Jesus, you are huge,
Absolutely
brother.
enormous.
You got wings on you,
So
brother.
you guys are going Ian Dobb?
I'm
build?
going Ian.
Dobb.
I'm going Ian.
I like the
king.
Nick Mattia build. I'll go Nick Mattia. So, you know.
I mean, it seems like Nick has better jiu-jitsu. Sorry, Ian.
Both bronzes.
Oh,
both
man,
bronzes.
dude.
At,
You're
both bronzes?
you're
Yeah,
about to
both
get
bronzes
called
at
out.
trials.
You're about to get called out in like a Keenan Cornelius, Ian Dobb reel.
I don't want- I don't
Ian,
want- I don't
call him
want
out.
that smoke.
Call him out
Let him know.
publicly.
I don't want the
the
smoke.
jiu-jitsu. The
I know he
jiu-jitsu
listens,
dark
but
horse
Nick's got
himself.
sick jiu-jitsu is all I'm saying.
yeah, he gave me a big hug this weekend for picking him on the fantasy team.
Let's go.
He
Yeah.
does-
Hell yeah.
he's keyed into what's going on.
All right, we're going to clip. We're going to...
And he called me out for not picking him.
Shit, we're going to erase that part.
And now he's gonna double be mad because I picked Nick Mattia's physique over. Man, Slack, which one you going with?
I'm going with John Blank.
Oh, you like
Oh,
that?
that's a good one.
I remember him from the Guess That Grappler.
He does got a hunky build. Yeah. I'll say this: Nick Mattia's got more of an alley cat build, and you guys know me, dude. But if you're a longtime listener to this show, dude, I'm the president of the Alley Cats Anonymous. And I'm looking to assemble a crew. So you let me know if you want to submit your application to the Alley Cats Anonymous, where we just go around back alleys just snapping, and we're all built like Nick Mattia in my utopia of the Alley Cats Anonymous. We walk around being built like Nick Mattia, snapping our fingers, just making shit happen.
Well, truthfully, I'll take either of them, so...
Yeah. Yeah, actually, me, like, I like my build. You know, just slightly chubby, kind of. I like the gi, so I don't have to wear only a rash guard type of build, you know. But
But,
all right.
you know, John Blank absolutely had one of the most impressive, showings at the tournament for sure as well. I think all submissions except for his first match.
For his first match.
And another guy who's going out there and just submitting people in 30, 40 seconds, showed off a lot of his full game. We know John is a really good leg locker, but he caught a couple triangles in there as well, and he was a big triangle guy. Just a really impressive performance from John. And I feel like John maybe kind of like hasn't put it all together in like the kind of like the mental side of competition sometimes, and it just felt like we kind of saw like the perfect blend of just his. He's a hammer out there, he's a beast, and he's also got kind of really slick jiu-jitsu, but it felt like he just was in a good place mentally and really just kind of let it rip, free flowing. Sean Yatamarco, a young kid who we know is kind of surging at the moment as well and looking for his big breakout moment. And John's been here a couple times before. And he kind of, beat back this next generation, showed that the veterans are still out there kind of hunting subs and everything like that. And man, it was just awesome to see how ecstatic, how happy, he was, to kind of, making his dream come true out there. And anytime you can kind of see somebody authentically, trying to make their dreams come true and putting in the hard work, it's a lot of fun to watch. So big shout out to John Blank.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that John might have been like the happiest guy that I saw punch his ticket, even though obviously all of the guys were pretty thrilled. John was just so relieved because he had obviously placed in 2019. He was supposed to have the return trip to 2022. That's basically a guarantee. If you place top 4, you go back to the next one. But ended up tearing his bicep right before that, and so he wasn't able to. And then the next cycle comes around. He takes part in the trials. He doesn't qualify, right? He lost a couple tough ones, just some quick heel hooks, things like that he got caught in. So coming in, is kind of this question, maybe John's like a little bit more of the veteran, a little bit more of the measuring stick for some of these younger guys. But no, he was so keyed in. He was so dialed in. He looked every bit, the best we've seen him, I think, since that 2019 ADCC run.
Yeah, John looked like a beast for sure. I think one of the best things about watching John, in my opinion, is he doesn't just submit dudes. Like, obviously, he went all submissions except for one. He just has really cool, like, sick, creative submissions, like very flowy. Like, he hit that like the kind of invert triangle,
He calls it the 360 no scope triangle.
I mean, incredible name. Like, that's the name from now on.
It's like a gaming thing. 360 no
Oh,
scope.
dude, you never 1v1 360 no scopes only on Rust?
No.
Not a Modern Warfare guy?
No.
Oh man, when you get
I tried to play Modern Warfare, but I couldn't figure it out.
You couldn't get past the start screen. Did we ever talk about that? Reed couldn't get past the start screen.
Dude, we were there playing Call of Duty or some game with Owen, and the whole time I didn't want to bring up that, like, yeah, I tried to play one time, but I just couldn't figure out how to play the game past the start
kind
screen.
of an issue, Reed.
He got beat by the start screen. Did you get the boys back in the day? You're in the lobbies, everybody's chattering, talking a little smack, saying things that you're not allowed to say now or at that time, but there's a little more leeway. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, you're getting called out for 360 no scopes only on Rust. And so you got to just go jump off the tower.
Yeah, I still don't know what that
Fire it
means,
off.
but
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I was trying to, make my application for the FaZe clan, trick shots only, but I didn't make it. So here I am, living out my second dream. But yeah, John Blank hitting the 360 no scope triangle armbar, dude. That is so sick. But I feel like that's just what he does consistently. Is like just hits just so cool, such flowy jiu-jitsu. Sean Yadamarco, obviously a great run from Sean Yadamarco. I think the biggest takeaway I would say that's a good thing for Sean Yadamarco is placing second at East Coast Trials means he's probably going to get a high seed at West Coast,
100%. I think this is also true for Michael and maybe even like Gavin and some of these other guys. Everybody knows the North American trials are the toughest trials at this point, right? Kind of by a solid margin. If you are placing highly at both of them, a lot of times you end up with an invite too. You know what I mean? So if Sean were, to go like silver or silver bronze at both trials, obviously he's just thinking about gold medals. I totally understand that. And he should be. He has he looked awesome here.
Yeah.
He could definitely win West Coast. But even if like him or Michael or Gavin or one of these guys just like medals at the next one, I feel like they usually like throw those guys a bone as one of the later invites.
Definitely. All right, so bumping up to minus 99 kilograms. Achilles Rocha ended up getting it done. Wagner ran out on the mats, gave him a big hug. Achilles Rocha, I don't know how to describe his jiu-jitsu. His jiu-jitsu is like, it's like, I don't even want to say this, but it's like his jiu-jitsu is almost like whenever I'm in the gym and I'm a lazy guy and someone's fighting hard for an omoplata and I'm like, okay, I guess I don't want to fight that much. So like you can go and I'll try to roll out of it and I get caught. And then I'm like, dang it, now I'm tapping. Achilles does that except he doesn't get caught. Like he just lets himself toe this line of just being in like the deepest, craziest positions. Like constantly looks like he's about to get scored on, about to get submitted. But it's like when you're almost scoring on Achilles or you're almost submitting Achilles, that's also when he's the most dangerous. Like he somehow will just turn that into like the sickest reversal you've ever seen. And now Achilles scored off of you somehow from you like almost submitting him. I don't even want to say almost submitting because you're not almost submitting
100%.
Achilles, but it's like you're in a submission and then all of a sudden now you have 3 points against you and he's on top of you. Like it's nuts watching Achilles. I couldn't imagine being his parents, like being Fafa, his mom, and just constantly watching Achilles just like kind of go head first into this crazy stuff but not really care and just flow out of it and then come out on top. Like Achilles jiu-jitsu is wild to me,
Unbelievable. What's that Lord of the Rings quote? The further you are from danger, the closer you are to harm. It's kind of like that, right? I think I fucked that up. You get the general idea, I think. Achilles was. I felt like at certain times in the tournament, I felt like I could feel the weight of some of the expectations, and he's been doing trials, and if this one doesn't work, he's going to do Brazilian trials, and then another Brazilian trials, and then West Coast trials, and he's just going to keep chipping away. So I just felt like there's this big relief that he was able to just kind of knock it out of the park early on. Super tough one with Stefan Banta. Stefan is just a tank. Who's really well built for this rule set, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him at the ADCC World Championships either. But Achilles, he just brings that thunder and lightning that only certain guys are able to do, and I think you're only really able to do that if you like kind of train it from a certain age, to be honest.
we got to get some of this gum.
Yeah,
we gotta get some of this.
He told you what this gum was?
It's
Some of this, Joe Rogan.
called Neurogum.
Neurogum, energy and focus gum. I was just looking it up.
Yeah,
here
when
too.
I was out there before WNO 29, they were going on and on about it.
He was chewing it the whole time, mouth open, just chewing
Yeah.
gum. Like and
It's nicotine.
It's nicotine?
Yeah.
I don't think it is.
I think it's like a nicotine, or maybe it's not nicotine.
Caffeine.
It's like a nootropic.
I was gonna think.
chemical
My guess was
gum.
like it's like Alpha Brain, but in gum form
Yeah.
or something.
No,
thought it was
I'm
nicotine.
pretty sure it makes you smarter.
Yeah.
I thought it was nicotine.
I don't think.
I'm pretty sure the brain pills work, guys.
But he was chewing it the whole time. In the corner, Wagner literally said, "Keep chewing." At one point, I was like, "Is that really a vital part of this game plan?"
Also, is that allowed?
Yeah, is that allowed?
I guess we're gonna get some though, and chew it on the next podcast probably.
The whole show.
And just like it's gonna be such a smart, just calculated podcast.
Sorry, guys. Trying to do better podcasting. Yeah, I guess. I mean, it worked. He won trials. So if you are out there and you're trying to win,
And that was like
trials-
the very first thing he said in like the little like on the mat interview. He was just like, the Joe Rogan gum, it works. Joe gum, get it.
Yeah,
You know?
shout out Joe Rogan and his gum. Yeah. But yeah, Achilles, great performance from him. The final
Gonna be a crazy one at ADCC Worlds, right? That -99 bracket could be Kynan, could be Luke. Nicky Rod was at -99 for CJI. Marigali, Pixley, Lovato,
Yeah.
all these dudes,
Insane.
and then throwing a guy like Achilles in there, and then throwing a guy like Declan in there.
Yeah.
This weight is going to be like potentially like kind of an all timer.
For sure. We could end up seeing like Marcin Masciolovic coming out of the
Masciolovic.
second Euros. Like, yeah, I don't know. This one's going to be nuts for sure. But over 99, get into that, you know. Over 99, we saw Nick Hartman and Brandon Reed in the finals. Brandon Reed got it done. You know, that's two dudes from Pedigo who punched their ticket. Pretty incredible for that squad, for the Daisy Fresh squad to send two guys to the ADCC World Championship. What did you think about this final, Reed?
Yeah, I think, I know Ian Dabe had a great run as well, but it really felt like these were the two far and away kind of best guys in the division. You know, you got to shout out Nick Hartman. Did he have all submissions leading up? Or
There might have been a points win in there.
Yeah.
I know I watched him submit a lot of people. He submitted Damon Ramos with a straight ankle.
Meet Ian Dobb.
Submitted Ian Dobbs. So, like, he had just an incredible tournament as well. And I think, he's still young. He's still a brown belt, right? So, we're going to see a lot more of him. And Robert Drysdale in his corner certainly seems to have a lot of faith in Nick Hartman and everything like that. And I can see why. So I definitely think we're going to see him again. But, it was all Brandon Reed, man. He's finally kind of, he's been having some good years. And, of course, he was at ADCC 2024. He had Felipe Pena first round. But this feels like his real kind of like first official cycle of the ADCC, and he's really starting to kind of like cement himself as the guy at the top here. So he ended up getting the back at the kind of like final seconds of this match here, and got the win. And just the way he did it, kind of just like that down to the final seconds, just goes to show you what a dog Brandon Reed is. And impressive performance from him for sure.
And that was after in the semifinals scoring with like no time left as well. And they gave him the 3 right at the end of overtime, I think it was.
Yeah, I thought this exchange we were watching where Nick is deep in on a leg, and if like Nick Hartman's going to win this match, he's going to leg lock him. And then Brandon uses that to then take the back off of it and secure the points and
10
everything.
seconds left here.
I thought that was such a testament to like Brandon Reed's growth and his jiu-jitsu, where it's like he's kind of like deep in enemy territories where Nick wants to be, that's where Nick's going to win this match at. And he was kind of able to use some crafty defense, use a little counterattack, and then get the points and get the back and get the win there. So I was like, good on Brandon Reed. This one also happened at Nogi Pans, right? This is the one with the weird DQ where Brandon was like talking to the ref or something.
Oh, that's right. I
Nick
totally
got the
forgot
win
about
there.
that.
So they kind of got to run this one back. So shout out Brandon Reed, huge win for him there. I think if we're looking at like non-champions, so obviously like the champions, those are the guys with like the best runs because they won the event. If you go the next level, like who out of the non-champions had some of the best runs, I think Nick Hartman had one of the best performances. Like he looked so incredible the whole time. Like I think it was like all except for maybe one submission. I think day 2 maybe he was all subs going into the final. But I just thought he looked great the whole time because he was going out there too, and it wasn't just like it's kind of like John Blank, not just getting submissions but doing really sick submissions, looking like good, getting into his game. I thought Nick was just going out there immediately making people kind of get into his A game and then capitalizing on it. So I thought it was a great overall performance from Nick Hartman as well. But that's all the champions right there. A little bit of the
All right,
recap.
let's get into it.
Let's get into this fantasy draft. All right. So we drafted teams. 2 athletes drafted per person, me, Reed, and Joe, from each division. So we would say like my 66 grappler is going to be.
But, I mean, just kind of like overall, we're drafting to our teams. I think.
No.
Kind of, like I'm Team Reed, and I'm drafting my team members.
I'm going to give an unbiased account of how this happened. We're drafting 2 per division, and Reed cheated and drafted Max Hansen as. This is an unbiased account of how it happened. He cheated and drafted Max Hansen at 66 when Max Hansen competed at 77 kilograms.
Okay, yes, but when I was
think we
picking,
can cut Reed's mic real quick.
when I was picking, Max was in the 66 kilogram division. He wasn't able to make the 66 weight limit, and last minute he jumped up to the 77 kilogram division.
Right.
So I don't see how I cheated.
He scored 0 points at 66 kilograms. All right. But listen, I'm willing to find an unbiased arbitrator for this.
All right. You want me to go?
We got to get Chook Doggy.
You want me to go get him?
Go get Chook Doggy.
Go get Chook
And
Dog.
tell him he has no choice. He has to come in here.
What did he say? He didn't want to come?
He was like, oh man, I don't know. Chook Dog, for anyone who doesn't know, Ray Machuca, he's
The fifth host.
Yeah, Ray Machuca is an executive here at Flow Sports, a real bigwig, a guy who gets shit done. You know what I'm talking about? And he's also a blue belt and trains with us all the time.
He's a pretty good blue belt.
And before Ray gets in here, I'll tell you guys a story he doesn't like me telling. Ray's been drinking. Ray has he told me not to tell anybody this, and I've been telling everybody who'll listen, and now I'm telling all of you guys. Ray's been, instead of eating food like a normal person, Ray's been buying pre-cooked chicken from HEB.
Make this a one-shot, Nicky.
Yeah.
Make this a one-shot, okay?
A prominent grocery store here in Austin, Texas called HEB. He's been going there and buying pre-cooked shredded chicken. He's been throwing that into a blender and blending it, and then throwing in like broccoli and strawberries. This dude's been drinking blended chicken as his like sole source of food now for like a month or two, and he says he feels great. He loves it. So that's the kind of like hardcore, freaking no nonsense guy Ray is, and that's how we know we can trust him here for a final decision on this.
Listen, I'll just say this. Last time we brought in another Flow employee, we ended up with Chael Sonnen fighting Craig Jones.
Yeah, good point.
So these things have kind of a way of mushrooming into some bullshit.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Chook Dog's walking in. Go over to the side desk with Slack over there, Chooky. All right.
I'm Chooky now?
Yeah.
Chook Dog.
Chook Dog.
Everybody give it up for Chook Dog joining the show.
Thanks for coming on the show. First timer.
All right, so this is a
Long-time listener, first time,
Yeah. You got talking to the mic. I know
like
it's your
a-
first
Yeah,
time.
long-time listener, first time guest.
So I know this is the situation at hand.
You just focus on
Ray,
us.
and I'm gonna tell you.
You just talk to us. You don't need to worry about the computer.
This is the situation. We drafted teams. You watched the draft?
I watched the whole thing.
Okay, so you saw it all. You know how it worked. We drafted 2 athletes per division.
Yeah.
And then a wild card.
Yeah.
Reed drafted Max Hansen as a 66 kilogram representative to
I
his
remember
team.
that. Mm-hmm.
Max Hansen competed at 77 kilograms.
He couldn't make the weight of 66, so last minute they bumped him up to 77.
And so now we're in a bit of a sticky spot. A spot where I don't want to be. I don't like controversy.
You didn't ask to be in this.
I didn't want to be in this.
I don't want to
you
be here. This isn't fun for
Where
me.
Max scored 0 points at 66 kilograms in this fantasy draft, but he did score a decent amount at 77. And we need a ruling. Should Reed get the points for Max Hansen or not?
Because also just like we're drafting to teams too, right? Like I drafted Team Reed, so like my guys should just be able to get the points that they got no matter what division they fought in. Like I didn't have any control over whether Max was going to jump in 66 or 77. I didn't have any control over that. He did jump into 77 and submitted a bunch of guys, so I should get those points.
So, Ray, what do you think? Do rules matter or not?
I got to go with Trey on this one. I got to. I just think part of you picking Max is knowing Max is going to be a professional and be on weight, right?
But he still fought in the tournament.
But he
Professionally.
I know, but he missed he missed it. So
But he didn't miss anything. There's no record of him missing anything.
I hate to be on Trey's side here.
Oh, man.
You're going to hate it more when you listen back to the podcast, by the way.
Oh, really? Am I being set up? Am I being set up?
No, I'm not setting you up.
Okay.
You weren't
Oh my goodness!
Nobody
Oh,
tell
my
him.
goodness.
Nobody tell him.
I cannot believe this.
What?
This is. Okay.
This might be the end of the show. This might be the end of FloGrappling as it exists.
I had no control over this. He jumped in 77 and he won a bunch. I picked him. So I should get him on my team.
So clearly I would be benefited if Max is not allowed because I'm on another team. What I will say is Reed still does have 2 66s because his wild card pick was also a 66.
Yeah, so now they have one more guy than I have.
Well, no, but we all have different
I had
numbers
the
of
most
people.
guys not show up.
Okay, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter.
We picked a couple people and then they didn't show up. So some of us just do have to eat.
Yeah.
Like, okay, this person didn't show up.
So I guess to clarify,
Isn't that the thing, though, Reed?
Why do you keep zooming in on my face?
You just got to
You're in the hot seat, brother.
They know.
Now listen, Ray. This is something we could do, and I don't necessarily agree with it because I think we should be by the books on this one. But
Since when do we have to be by the book?
Since when are we by the
I've
book?
always been by the
When
books.
has this podcast ever once gone off the rails?
We are not by the books. Corporate Reed, by the books Reed.
He did have Gianni Grippo as his wild card pick, who technically he could move Gianni to his 66 representative and move Max to his wild card. But I just think, rules exist for a reason.
So just no matter what, these guys just get an extra guy on their team I don't
still
get.
think you might have more guys.
you would still have more than both of
Okay,
us.
that doesn't. I can't control who competes. And
I can't control who makes weight.
But he still competed. I'm saying, I can't control who competes.
And you picked him, and you
Max
did say
competed
at 66. Give me Max Hansen.
Do you want to let him have Max as the wild card and move Gianni to 66?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
All right.
Okay.
I think, it's just.
Trey's just setting me up even more here. I know this. He's just setting me up even more.
Because there's only one of us who knows the results of the draft. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it's
I
like-
think this is all just going to lead to Trey being like, doesn't matter, I want it.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's find out then. Let's pull up Slack. Let's pull up
I don't
the
know.
secret
I don't know
document.
how this actually affected everything. I don't know how.
And if you look here, Reed had 49 points, and Max Hansen scored him 3 points, which was very important.
All right, cut this.
Because Joe had 53 points and I had 59, dude. Just an absolute juggernaut of a team. It doesn't matter if you try to knock my team out. I don't know. I had 3 people not show up. Kyle Bame, Shai
Yeah,
Lily,
you
and
can't
someone
control
else.
that, and you still won. Congratulations.
It's incredible what my team was willing to do. I brought a huddle up with my team beforehand, and I said, listen, Reed's got dirty business going on, boys. I said, everyone huddle up, get close. Reed's playing dirty ball out there, man. He's cheating all over the place. He called Kyle Bame. He said, Kyle, don't show up today. And my team said, you know what, Trey? We got you, man. I'm John Blank. I'm going to score you 9 points. I'm Nick Hartman. I'm going to score 1,000,000 points. Sean Yadamarco said, I'm going to make the finals, Trey. I said, you do that, Sean. You guys are my guys for a reason.
That's if you believe the math that Trey did.
Yeah, I did do the math.
I want to say.
I don't know that I do. And he did come to us a couple times like, well, what if we use this system instead?
Dude, dog, give me a chest bump right here. Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. And I prepped Ray on everything. I told him every line to say.
This is all under protest.
I want to say. Where can I talk to a camera here? Just this one? Okay.
Where's our?
There we go. All right.
I think you're over here.
Over here.
Yeah, you're just straight across.
Yeah.
Yep,
There it is. All right. Now I'm talking to Michael Sains right here. Michael, you just watched Trey's reaction to him winning this fantasy draft here. We can't let that happen, Michael, is all I'm saying. So gonna need your help here to kind of as we navigate forward for the next trials and everything like that. But gonna need your help, Mike. We can't just let Trey just kind of walk all over me here and just start
This is brutal.
screaming into the mic, what I need some backup here, brother. So all right.
Did you just unleash the Alpha Miami Science crew on me?
exactly. I don't need more help.
Is Michael, you know that you were the number 1 overall pick from Reed, and that I months ago was saying that I believed in you, and that Reed and Joe definitely believe in you in Alpha Miami Grappling. and anyone else
This
really
is devastating. This
like
is,
hasn't been on the record with it. At least just hasn't been on the record with it.
I mean, talk about misery loves company, dude. This is devastating to turn the Signs clan, Alpha Miami, against me. I'm gonna get jumped if I show my face.
Chingy, I need your help. Tristan, I need your help.
No. Okay, so I talked to the Signs brothers, all right? They were vocal about not liking me not picking Michael Sains. This dude, he wins the semifinal. He comes over to me. He said, "How about that pick now, buddy?" I was like, oh God. I gave him a nervous pat on the, I went, haha, and patted his shoulder like that. Didn't have nothing to say. I froze, dude. Fight or flight. I decided to freeze up. Pooped my little pants. But I also talked to these dudes because they kept calling me Mr. Glazer. They're running around. Tristan and Michael are running around calling me Mr. Glazer because they're saying I'm glazing it up. So
True. Okay.
We're bringing facts and you're bringing glaze, so I don't know.
I support Chingy and Kaio Signs and the father. I support father Signs. Michael and Tristan.
Dead to you?
No. I can't even joke that. But
All right.
no, I love those dudes too. I'm Mr. Glazer for a reason. But I'm drafting Kyle first and then Chingy, and then we'll see if Michael and Tristan are still available on the next one. But, I'm leaning into Kyle at this point. And Tristan told me, he was like, well, hey, bro, that's just because Kyle hasn't talked to you yet. That dude's mean. I was like, oh, no. I'm going to get flamed up by Kyle Signs, but yeah.
Yeah, shout out to the Sains brothers. They had an incredible
best.
weekend. It was super fun watching those guys. I haven't watched a whole lot of Chingy Signs there, and
He was awesome.
Yeah, he was killing it, and Tristan made it to day 2. Obviously, Michael had an incredible performance out there going to the finals. It came up short, but I have a feeling that we're definitely going to see him again soon, and hopefully he'll be blowing up Trey.
I can't believe you turned the Signs on me.
and making his life miserable too.
Well, it's not like there's a record of it anywhere. It's not like
that was like I was high on life, dude. I've been setting up this bit since the event ended. I did all the math at 12 a.m. on Sunday, just like
Genuinely, we got a text like 12:30 that night. Like, don't worry, guys, just did all the math. That's when I for sure was like, okay, Trey won.
But
All right, so who got most points
and
for
it came
you?
crashing down. John Blank.
John Blank got the most
Yeah, he
points?
had 10 points total, 9 on the second day, 1 on the first day. So biggest.
By the way,
power pick there.
we're not using the method we agreed to on the podcast.
True. Yeah, so, controversy there, I guess. But we went with Pico Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah, controversy
Oh,
there.
this guy.
Yeah, controversy there. Like,
Cut his mic. No, I'm kidding. Pico.
That's fine. We can use whatever scoring system gets you the win, and then just go from there.
I did all the math for both first. Pico Jiu-Jitsu, shout out him. He comments on a lot of our stuff, but he gave us on our fantasy draft video. He was like, "Nah, boys, do the points this way," and we went with it. That was a good input by you. So we went the points.
I guess we got to look into this Pico Jiu-Jitsu account and who's running that one.
Yeah.
Have a feeling that it's going to come back to Austin, Texas.
Oh, it'd be a shame if that IP address matched freaking 301 Congress here at Flow Sports, huh? But so that's what we went with, and there you go. I got my team right. I talked to them. Did you guys talk to your team ahead of time?
I did.
Yeah, of course.
Ian Dobb shared a big hug.
Okay.
Day one.
A really big hug.
A really big hug. Could not get my arms locked.
Ow. Gave you a hug and you just went, oh. But yeah, I mean, the fantasy draft thing was fun, dude.
Day one, I killed it.
Yeah,
Day
you did.
Day 2, I had a.
Yeah, you were the leader day 1. Joe had the most people not have a match or only like one match on day 1. But yeah,
still think I have a good team.
the fantasy thing is fun. I know PGF has kind of set up their stuff where you can do more of the fantasy element. I think in the future for our fantasy drafts, we want to find a way to tie in the fans, okay? And I don't if you guys got an idea, Pico Jiu-Jitsu, you're kind of like our lead producer now. You're kind of running things, so maybe drop a couple comments. Let us know what we should do on the next one. You just got promoted, Pico. Congratulations. Everybody get over Pico getting promoted. And
Legend.
Yeah, and so I feel like maybe there's a way where we could submit basically the chat vote where the chat would get to like put in their vote so they're represented as one team. So then it's like all 3 of us and the chat. Maybe Slack could be like a chat representative or something. We could find a way to tie in, see if the fans can put together a better pick than us. These guys every now and then they're squeaking in there saying, "What do these guys know?" All right, let's put it on the line. Let's see. We'll find out. But I think that'd be a fun way because it is like fun when you're watching to just be like, oh, okay, I got this is here and this is here and Reed's guys here. It's just like a fun little element. Obviously, that's why fantasy football is so big. It's like even if you're not a Baltimore Ravens fan like Joe, at least you can like cheer for Lamar Jackson or somebody. Yeah. But it was a good time. overall, I thought, I mean, what an excellent display. I will say, how many times have we done draft things like this? Twice?
Maybe twice.
Two-time. The two-time right here. The two-time champ, baby.
I guess I think
I still would like to check it under the rules that we agreed to and the rules that you proposed at first, where it was just like 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, true. You probably have a better, maybe a good shot there, right?
I guess
Let's
under
just-
Trey's
let's-
rules, according to Trey, Joe won.
Oh, let's just run it in every possible rules now,
Just
boys.
because it's the thing I said, suddenly it's the thing
Yeah.
I said.
Just because I did the math and I make the rules.
I know. Somehow you keep doing
And
the math,
sometimes
and
I
you
talk
keep
about
winning.
how I'm not good at math, and I hope I got this one right, boys.
I hope I did. But
All right. Congrats, Trey. Congrats,
boys.
congrats on the win.
I'm withholding.
I guess I expected more support from my friends, but whatever.
This
But
dude was coming at me all weekend about this.
I told him I was going to make a big graphic that just said cheater with his face as big as I could possibly make it. A defamation, a smear campaign against Reed. I'm just kidding. Reed didn't cheat. I knew the results, so I wanted to ham it up. I wanted to get Chook Dog involved. But all right, let's move on to what we got coming up. We got coming up this weekend. We have 2 big time events. The jiu-jitsu doesn't stop at trials. We're just moving and grooving. It's going. And we got the Crown and BJJ Stars going down this weekend. Let's kind of just a quick look at kind of some of these Crown divisions. They dropped the actual brackets, right? So we know the actual brackets and everything. So what we got here, the men's featherweight. Obviously, big names in this bad boy. Joao Mendez, Kevin Carrasco, Kennedy Masael, Marco Mendez, Adamir Barreto, Dudu Granzado, Cole Abate, Danilo Moreira. I mean, pretty sick, to be honest. Obviously, Joao Biznaga coming off of the World Championship, so he's kind of the man to beat in this one, but a lot of fun names in this as well.
Definitely got to look at where Cole Abate's at in this bracket. Like him to make a nice little run here. He's got potentially Kennedy Maciel in the semifinals. We saw that at Euros earlier this year. That was a crazy match with some early penalties that Cole had to try to navigate out from, and then he nearly scored with a back take late. That was one of the craziest gi matches of the year, to be perfectly honest, over there in Lisbon. So hopefully we can see that run back. Joao Mendez has been on a crazy run that kind of started last year at the Crown when he made the finals against Pato. Wasn't able to get it done then, but now won his world title, looking to come in here, capture the crown. Awesome bracket.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see Joao Biznaga back, to be honest, for sure. Hopefully see some more Kyotera ankle locks.
You guys want to draft it? You want to draft it? I'm high on drafting now, baby. No, I'm just kidding.
Women's lightweight, you got Bia Basilio, Elizabeth Clay.
This is one of the best brackets.
Yeah, this
of the year.
bracket
This is
is
the best
fun
gi
one.
bracket of the year.
This is a fun one, man. Cassia Mora, Brianna St. Marie, Sarah Galvao has been having a big year, of course. Janaina, this all 8 of these girls are having a great year and could win this bracket. So this is a fun one.
These first round matchups are nuts,
Dude,
too.
BSM versus Sarah Galvao, like that's a match that we've
crazy.
been wanting to see, and
Yeah.
here we go.
I feel like that's a match that, like, even a year ago, Sarah's parents were like kind of starting to like broach that with different people. Like, do you think we could get that match going? If that match happened, and now here we go, first round of the Crown. BSM is the defending champion here at the Crown. She lost a very close one at Worlds to Janaina. Obviously, Janaina has been having a crazy year, won the Grand Slam, every Grand Slam tournament at least, and the World Championship that's finally been evading her, but came up short here at the Crown last year, so she's looking to get that back. Can Janaina prove that she's number one? Can Sarah have this big, crazy breakout moment? Can BSM go back-to-back? Crazy bracket.
Definitely. And then we got men's middleweight up there. Andy Murasaki, the returning Crown champ. He's going to have Mateo Cardona first round. On that same side, Pedro Maia and Danilo Rook. Danilo, a young Alliance black belt now, looking to stake his claim in here. But I think Andy, obviously one of the favorites, returning Crown champ. Jackson Nagai, world champ in here. I think Pedro Maia is a guy who's like been right there so much, and it's like he's gonna win one of these, So like keep your eye on that one. Jose Steve, a dope young dude to have in the mix there, going up against Mateus Moraes.
Is he a black belt now?
Yeah, he got his black belt after Worlds.
Okay, he got his black belt for Worlds. Cool. Yeah, I remember he won Worlds. He was fun to watch at brown belt. So it's always fun when they get these kind of like next gen guys, up and comer guys to kind of mix it up with the established stars like Pedro and Andy and stuff like that. So I think he's going to be a kind of a real landmine, so to
you go.
speak.
I think IBJJF did a great job with that this year, building out these brackets, like mixing in with these kind of like disruptor younger guys.
Even Mateo Cardona versus Andy,
Cardona's a great
little Atos versus AOJ kind of crime going on right there. And obviously Mateo looked great at brown belt too. So, he's taken obviously a big step up and having to fight Andy Murasaki, but that should be a fun one too.
What we got next, Slag? Men's heavyweight, the retired Adam Wardzinski dusting off the gi. How long was that retirement? 2 months, 3 months?
So his English, he thought that meant he was tired again.
Oh, okay.
He was just retired.
Retired.
So he's back now.
He's not tired.
Not tired anymore. He rested up.
Yeah.
Adam is back in, looking to make it happen for the crown again. And I just think it's going to just be kind of one of these things like, let's go till the wheels fall off, actually. Let's go until it's not going good anymore. I'm on top of the world. I'm making, money doing this and, potentially put myself in place for something like the Hall of Fame. And Adam jumps in here, Fat Ninja first round. That's just a really fun match.
Yeah.
To be perfectly honest.
Yeah, that's a
Fat
great
Ninja
match.
always goes after people.
And man, what I would like to see kind of is Adam Wardzinski versus Nolan Stewart. To be honest,
True.
that's an interesting one. But Lucas Hulk Barbosa in there, he's gonna be a hard guy to beat.
Mateus Rodriguez, Paulo Merlin, I feel like that's like two dudes who are like, I want to win this, I gotta get a big championship. And Mateus Rodriguez lost to Adam in his run, where Adam ended up winning his first world championship. And I know that like that was one for Mateus where like he kind of was like, this is my tournament. Like, I can win this division. And then it just ended up, it was Adam who was kind of like on an all-time run right there. So I feel like Mateus for sure probably wants that matchup
A rematch,
back
yeah.
and an opportunity to get one back over Adam.
Definitely want to shout out Hulk while we're at it. Probably the second most prestigious or second most proven guy in this bracket, but has been away for a little while. Hasn't won a big gi tournament certainly in a little while, but he's a two-time world champion from Atos. Hulk is always, bringing a show, bringing a lot of fun stuff to watch. So I'm really excited to see what he can do in this bracket. Winston is a super tough young kid. Like you said, Nolan going to be in the way. Nolan had a lot of success up a weight class. He's kind of moving back down, seeing if he can stabilize himself there and do a good job. But I think Hulk is really interesting to watch this tournament.
Definitely. What else we got next? Women's super heavyweight. So obviously Gabby Pisania in the mix here, the queen of jiu-jitsu. She's going up against Annabelle Lopez Beard. Annabelle, a dope European grappler. I believe she's also Spanish, right? Yeah. She lives in London, trains in London now, but a Spanish grappler right there with Ana Mayordomo. So that's a dope one. Isadora. We got Tayani on the other side. It's like, usually it's hard to bet against Gabby. There's always like the kind of like, oh man, well, Gabby's going to win another one. We saw Tayani upset her at Brasileiros.
The one person to have a victory over Gabby this year is Tayani. She's proved that she can do it. I think that's the match that everybody kind of wants to see again a little bit is Gabby versus Tayani, and can Tayani kind of do it again? I guess it was an impressive one at Brasileiros. The crowd was going crazy and everything like that. So
yeah.
It seems like that'll be a fun one to run back. But Isadora is also pretty young and very tough as well. I'm not sure if those two have fought. They probably have, but I can't quite remember off the top of my head. Larissa as well. So.
Yeah, and Maka of AOJ, that's a tough first round for Tayani too.
Absolutely, I was just about to bring that up. Maka's super tough, has been there with all these girls and given everybody one of the toughest fights they've ever had, if not beaten them. This is a super, super good bracket. Something I also want to point out that's a complicating factor. Obviously, we talk about the dominance of the greatest of all time, the greatest woman to ever do it, Gabby Pisania. But right now, she's got this rival. She's also got a lot of no-gi obligations that she's got going on. She's going to be on WNO against Paige Yvette, who's a stone-cold killer. So she's got to be training for that no-gi plenty. She's doing the no-gi Grand Slam, double Grand Slam, unbelievable. I think has already officially accomplished that, right? But after winning Euros, that was the check mark on it. So she's kind of split in time, a couple different obligations, things going on there. So I think that is a little bit of a complicating factor. Obviously, I would never bet against Gabby in the gi until I see her just like, really get having it carded out there. But I do think that is an interesting little thing to watch here.
Definitely. What's this last division? We got men's ultra heavyweight.
Oh, big boys.
Yeah. Eric Muniz in there. It's hard to bet against Eric Muniz. He's one of the most dominant grapplers in the world today. But he's got Patrick Gaudio, a veteran, first round. On the other side, Gustavo Batista and Elder Cruz. That's a
crazy
fun one.
Match.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Guy I really want to watch. We've been talking about the young guys in this bracket. Guilherme Avelino He's big, he's strong, he's tough. From Alliance, he's another one of these young Alliance guys who won Brown Belt Worlds, is ready to come in here and take a shot. He's taking on Marcus Carrasino first round. Carrasino won a no-gi world title and is a super good GF team guy. He was in the finals of Absolute at Euros and has had himself a pretty decent season here. But he's a super late replacement. This bracket kind of got shooken up in the last 10 days before the event. But Avellino is definitely a guy that I have circled on here that has the size, the technique, the experience. Even though he's a fresh black belt, he's been competing for so long. I think he can make some waves.
Yeah, he trains with Danilo Vruk. Those dudes kind of came up together and everything. Super tough young dudes, to be honest, out of that alliance in Sao Paulo. And then on the last quarterfinal here, Francisco Papasadero versus Pedro Lucas. Pedro Lucas always a beast, Francisco a beast. So definitely fun brackets all the way around. I think it's going to be a great night. Yeah, this one's on Saturday or Sunday, November?
Sunday, yeah.
The 23rd.
23rd, and it has multiple sessions. There will be a session early in the morning. I think it's usually around 10 a.m.
I believe, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Central time. It starts.
There you go. Mm-hmm. And then there will be a second session that'll have kind of the finals and some more of the matches later. And I love that. I love that it happens throughout the day. So some momentum gets to build and people get to talk to each other. Did you see this? Finals are going to be this. You got to get over here for this. Never mind that all these matches are so tough that these guys do need a little bit of time in between.
Yeah, November 23rd, The Crown going down in Long Beach, California. We've been watching so much no-gi jiu-jitsu recently, so it'll be good to kind of dip back in the gi, see guys like Adam Wardzinski and everybody kind of doing their thing. We love watching Adam Wardzinski and Cole Abate and Biznaga and stuff like that. So it'll be exciting to kind of jump back into the gi and see that elite gi stuff go down at The Crown, November 23rd. Don't miss it. Should be sick.
Definitely. And then kind of the last final big event this weekend, BJJ Stars. This one's going to be dope. We kind of previewed this one a little bit before, but just kind of taking another look back at it to have it fresh on everybody's mind going into the weekend. It's going to be a big one. We got Roosevelt Souza going up against Pedro Mourinho in the main event. Obviously, that's a crazy one. Pedro just recently won that absolute bracket. Now he's got Roosevelt Souza, Wagner versus Sergio Moraes, Taza versus Fabricio Andre, Owen Jones, Mayram, Big Dan, Yatan Bueno, a bunch more on there. What's some big matches on this one you guys are looking forward to?
Man, it's there's a lot of great matches here, but to be honest, I feel like I'm maybe most excited about Fabricio Andre versus Oliver Taza.
That is
kind of
good one.
Two styles clashing, two guys a little bit of different weight classes. Fabricio looks bigger and bigger every time I see him, so I don't know, maybe he's getting closer to Oliver's weight class now. But anytime Fabricio goes out there, he's going to be hitting something crazy. One of the most athletic guys in jiu-jitsu. Taza obviously been in the game for a long time. Brings a bit of a different kind of Rubik's cube for Fabricio to solve. I'm not sure we've really seen Fabricio fight too many just kind of really elite good leg lockers, besides like Pato and stuff like that. But, especially Oliver being potentially a little bit bigger and stuff like that. I think it's just a really interesting styles matchup. And Taza throws down every single time,
Sure.
So it's going to be a fun match.
100%. Taza, he looked so good at the last BJJ Stars too, the 185-pound Grand Prix that he was in. He looked incredible. And it almost reminds me of the Fabricio versus Ethan match in a couple of ways. You know what I mean? Just stylistically there. But super excited to watch that one. One I definitely want to point out is Owen Jones versus Mayram, right? Got to talk about Owen and Mayram. Mayram is one of the most explosive, interesting athletes to watch, always hitting the craziest submission of the event. I feel like that guy gets fight of the night or submission of the night check every time he goes out there. And then Owen, one of the most brash, not afraid to put it on the line, not afraid to let everybody know what he plans to do, what he hopes to do. And then backs it up with super exciting jiu-jitsu. So I think that one's going to be an absolute scrap.
I remember one of the more interesting things too, where I think, was it on the podcast where we were talking to Owen about kind of who the guys he was watching when he was coming up and stuff like that. And the first name out of his mouth was Mayram. Yeah. I thought that was kind of crazy. So Owen's been watching Mayram, and if you've been watching for a long time, you definitely watched Mayram as a purple belt, just beating up people, and just doing highlight reel submission moves that you'd never seen before. So he's been an exciting guy for a long, long time. And it was just interesting to see kind of Owen was hip to it, and Owen's been watching him for a long, long time. So it feels like he's kind of, into that lane now of these elite guys. And I just think that it's kind of like a little, interesting nugget that it seems like he kind of reveres Mayram a little bit.
Definitely. It's hard not to get stoked about that match. That one's going to be crazy. This whole event's kind of like built around Owen Jones. If you think about it, they got the Peaky Blinders theme, and Owen the only UK representative on it. So I get I guess he'll be right in his comfort zone.
Yeah.
You think he's gonna wear the little hat or anything, or is he gonna be like, that's a little?
I kind of feel like it would be like, I'm not putting that on.
I feel like if one of us went there and they were like cowboy hat and cowboy shoe and cowboy boots.
Yeah, for sure. My culture is not your jiu-jitsu event theme. That's a funny thing. I'm excited about Big Dan Yatan Bueno.
That's a sick
I think Big Dan, absolute beast. Yatan Bueno, absolute beast. Yatan Bueno, he was in the semis of that absolute bracket against Pedro Mourinho, had a crazy run, and now Big Dan is going down to enemy territory.
Finals.
Flying
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't he beat him in the finals?
Maybe in the finals.
Oh, what did I say?
Semis.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, the finals. And Big Dan's going down enemy territory to Sao Paulo, Brazil, put it on the line. I think the crowd is going to be rowdy for that one. Brazil gets behind Brazilian athletes, and they like to boo foreigners. The gringo takes the mat. They like to let them know. And so I think that was going to be crazy. But, Big Dan, as tough as they come, one of the best in the world for a reason. I think Yatan Bueno, also up there. But this is going to be a sick one. I'm excited to see how that plays out.
More likely, which of these two guys on this card is more likely to go to Sao Paulo, go out, and get themselves in some kind of trouble? Big Dan or Owen Jones?
I don't know.
Different kinds of trouble. Of trouble.
Owen Jones is like, I feel like he can get out of trouble too.
True.
He's like, he'll get in trouble.
That's kind of the thing.
Charismatic.
Big Dan, once Big Dan, the ball starts rolling, that ball is probably,
Yeah. That's a big ball to stop.
We also got to shout out.
Way in motion stays in motion.
We got to shout out the Who's Number One champion, Pedro Mourinho, BJJ Stars champion, of course, as well, taking on a big challenge here. We've seen Pedro take on some bigger guys, and he's down to throw down with really anybody, anytime, anywhere. But, when they came back with Roosevelt Souza, I'd have to think he thought twice a little bit about it, just because, obviously Roosevelt coming off his victory at the World Championships in the gi. He had a great performance against Fat Ninja at Who's Number One. He's a big man for sure, and he's going to outsize Pedro by quite a bit here. But a very, very interesting matchup nonetheless. Pedro's down for anybody. He can catch anybody in a guillotine, as we saw him catch Yatan Bueno in the finals last time. Yatan Bueno also a big boy. So, just an interesting matchup. Not really sure exactly how this one's going to go, to be honest, just because I feel like there's so many kind of question marks. But that should be a fun one too.
Yeah, so stacked card there. Obviously, there's some more on it that we didn't fully dive into. Mateus Veteraci versus Hidor Zucchi. Luis Cantahero versus Guillermo Augusto. Andres Aguera versus Giovanna Oliveira.
Wagner Hosha versus Sergio Moraes. There's a fun one.
So definitely a stacked card all around. Like I said, it should be a big weekend for jiu-jitsu. You got BJJ Stars on Saturday. IBJJF's The Crown on Sunday. So make sure you guys tune in. Watch it all on FloGrappling.com. But we gotta wrap this up because we gotta go sort some things out. A lot of people are upset about the successes of other people on our team, and they're.
I said congratulations.
Yeah, but you didn't mean it though, dude.
I said congratulations on your fake victory.
Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure and drop a comment, and I won't even look at it. Just tell Reed and Joe who the champ is around here. Let them know in the comments. Let them know, okay, guys? And we'll see you guys in the next episode.